This week, the floor is lava, my chair is lava, all of Beat Space is lava. Thank God we're here on the internet where the floor is AAA games and you are standing on the virtual furniture with Indie Game Riot. Indie Game Riot!
Hey everybody, this is Indie Game Riot, episode 155, and I'm joined once again by Mr. McCammon. He's back. He decided to come back after all the abuse that he liked. There was just so much ass in it for him that he decided to come back, and we're happy to have him.
Wouldn't be in game dev if I didn't like a little punishment, right?
Yeah, so, after last week, how do you feel? Are you feeling a little bit more in the groove of things? Like you're ready to go? You get the
I do. You know, I got like a pang of stage fright about a half hour before the show, but I got over it, got through it, and just kept going.
Well, I mean,
it's weird because I don't know why I would be afraid of making a fool of myself on the internet. I regularly make a fool of myself in public without
that's what the
any
internet
problem.
is for.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's for you to make an ass of yourself, and then for the internet to ridicule you. Ridicule you is what I'm trying to say. Now that we've had a full week in between shows, now you can just center your attention on the past week. What's been going on with your life?
Well, I've been packing my entire life up, getting ready to relocate to Canada. As I think I mentioned last week, going to school up there, and today was my last day of having a day job. So that's very exciting. Thank you.
Now you're an unproductive member of society.
Hooray. Also known as a student.
Well, I mean, I hope it's not too stressful. I mean, it's kind of like, it's stressful moving. Like, moving sucks. But, I mean, there's that weight off your shoulders, and it's exciting that you're starting a new chapter. So,
absolutely.
I'm excited for you. And for myself, it's really been an uneventful week. I've got, the most exciting thing that's happened to me is I got fucking 2 cardboard cuts, like deep cardboard cuts in my tip of my pointer finger. Yeah, that wasn't fun. That happened today. Other than that, we're getting ready for...
Are cardboard cuts worse than paper cuts?
Yeah, because they're thicker and deeper.
Yeah,
but they sting just the same.
Right, they're relatively similar, but larger. That's rough. I'm sorry.
I know. It's everyone should donate to my medical expense.
Start a GoFundMe for Band-Aids.
I'll get Sarah McLachlan music to play for me, and in the arms of an angel. Then
we can have another GoFundMe to pay your legal fees when Sarah McLachlan sees you.
Don't sue me. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and I'm getting ready for my son's birthday. He's going to turn 4 on the 8th.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're growing up so fast, and I'm getting old so fast. And then lastly, it looks like apparently I think we're probably going to be getting a kitten here soon.
A kitten?
Yeah, a kitten.
Congratulations to that too. I love cats. I don't have one right now, but I intend to get one as soon as possible.
I prefer dogs, but I also do enjoy cats. I like both. Cats are a little bit easier because they're a little bit more independent. However, this is a kitten, so it needs to be, trained for the litter box and all that sort of stuff. But the nice thing about a kitten is that you can handle it and let it not be an asshole. You know what I mean? You can try to condition it to not be an asshole like most cats are. So we'll see how that goes. But that's exciting. We might be getting a kitten. It's pretty cute. So there's that. That's really been it. Prep said in chat, he gave an example. He said for the intro that you did, tonight we try to sleep tight at Slayaway Camp. That is, if the hot lava doesn't burn it all down on episode 155 of Indie Game Riot. That's how we usually do it right there, yes. Like here, like, now, I'm not saying you have to change it. I'm just saying, like, the reason I was, like, weird, for those of you listening to the recorded version, you probably didn't notice that. I was like, what? But usually the template goes...
Getting shown up by people in the chat, man. I told you, this is exactly like that dream I had.
The template usually goes tonight, and then we, in some quote witty way, include all 3 games into like a run-on sentence or 2, and then all on episode whatever of Indie Game Riot, and that's like the template. But I'm totally open to having different styles, so don't worry about it.
It's a process.
There's a freshness to change that I appreciate, and you don't want things to get stale. It's okay. You know what else does not get stale?
Is that injections?
A hot, fresh Indie News injection right into your ass.
Oh yeah.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an Indie News injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
All right. So it's time for the Indie News injection. I'm good at this, I swear.
It's your first time. It's fine. You'll get used to it.
I know. It's like, I was waiting for you there for a second, and I was like, wait a second. That's right. It's me. This is great. So, dude, we just jump right into it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the first story, I really got a kick out of this story. An indie game called Abstractism was pulled from Steam because it was actually hijacking users' computers and I believe using their video cards to mine cryptocurrency, and not Bitcoin. It was some knockoff of Bitcoin, some knockoff cryptocurrency. I think it's called Monero.
I have zero understanding of cryptocurrency, so I don't understand the necessity of this, but continue.
Well, yeah, so I don't have a huge... I'm the kind of guy who is perfectly content to let the experts worry about how cryptocurrency works. What I do know is that survivalists are really into it, and I know that it can be very valuable as well. Because
they're worried about the collapse of like economies and stuff like that, so that it's like a centralized. I don't know.
And yet
I'm bullshitting.
High hopes for the survival of the internet in that eventuality.
Yeah, well, if look at it this way though, if that's truly your thought, and maybe I'm reading this incorrectly, but. If you're into it for survival, and I know we're getting away from the main subject here, but if you're into survival and that's why you do cryptocurrency, if economies collapse, that most likely means civilization is collapsing, which means there is no internet because who the fuck is keeping that shit up?
Right, exactly.
And then your money's gone. And by the way, if there is an apocalypse, who the fuck? There's not going to be money. It's trade. It's going to be trade. Anyway.
No, I think you're right. However, this is a very popular thing. Apparently, this is from the Motherboard article.
A very clever means of money laundering. I can see that as well.
Oh yeah, no, that does make a lot of sense. So Motherboard says that this scam is known as cryptojacking, when hackers force a victim's computer to dedicate resources to guessing the correct value that validates a block of cryptocurrency transaction data. So that actually started out coherent to me and sort of went the way. So I do know that the basic idea is that your computer has to do these energy-intensive calculations, and that's sort of what, as I understand it, backs the currency that is, whatever it is.
So the energy usage is what's backing cryptocurrency, as gold is supposed to back the dollar or other currency.
That's my understanding of it, yeah. And as a result, as mining operations have gotten larger, it gets to a certain point where your average, Joe Blow garage Bitcoin miner or cryptocurrency miner can't keep up with somebody who's running a, $300,000 property that just has servers dedicated to mining Bitcoins. So I guess the idea is, we can crowdsource our Bitcoin mining through our what I understand, as far as I know, is sort of a meditative, like cerebral platformer game, which I also found interesting. It almost sounded like they were like targeting like me, like fans of like Limbo and that sort of game.
I wonder, like, I feel like this is something that moderation teams go. I mean, I guess Steam, we've discovered, as we know, Steam doesn't give a shit about moderating, but I don't know. I feel like it got farther than it should have.
Oh yeah, well, it ultimately was cracked by a YouTuber, I believe. Let's see, yes, a YouTuber, Sid Alpha, broke down the scam in a video that he released. Apparently, it seems that the jig was up because a fan reached out to tell him that they'd been taken in when they tried to buy a $100 golden rocket launcher for Team Fortress 2 via a third-party site. The scammer had sold them an item for Abstractism that used the same name and art as the golden rocket launcher but would never work in Team Fortress 2. So he and other community sleuths started realizing that for what it was, a simple meditative platform, Extractism was a really, really resource intensive game. And actually, some of its executables notified antivirus software, and that's how they. And ultimately, they were able to, discover this cryptocurrency operation.
Now, do you know if the people that made the game are they in the U.S. or are they from another country?
So that is a very good question.
Because I'm trying to think of what legal repercussions this would have against them. But if they're in China, China doesn't give a fuck,
right,
about it, as long as it's not happening to Chinese people. And that's true for a lot of countries. Russia's not really hard on that sort of stuff either.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't actually see whether where they're supposed to be located, and of course their online presence is now basically gone. So that was really interesting to me. That this sort of, because it was unique, because I was sort of familiar with there was that company maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago, that was like releasing shovelware, and they had this sort of scheme involving Steam trading cards, and they got called out for it and made a big stink and like threatened to sue everybody. So I was familiar with these sort of con artists that sort of target gamers through Steam, but the cryptocurrency sort of like crowdsource heist kind of operation was really a trip for me.
And for those of you that would like a little bit of a crash course on cryptocurrency, Prep is giving some interesting information in chat. I'm not going to do that all on the show, but it's there. Interesting. I was thinking about it too, because I remember Bitcoin coming out like 2012. I don't know if it came out then, but that's when I remember hearing about it. It was 2012 or something like that. And it was like super cheap. I could have gotten into it then and became like a fucking millionaire if I'd sold off like this past year. But whatever. Anyway, let's see. You know who hopes to be millionaires?
Me?
You.
I assume you're probably referring to our friends over at White Paper Games.
Yes.
Full disclosure, I met Pete Bottomley once. We
grazed each other in a hallway pass.
Yeah. I was actually standing next to somebody who knew him better and was talking to him, but I was there. I was sort of a third wheel in a conversation with Pete Bottomley.
Was Mark there?
He was the third. Was
that why you were in
second
England?
wheel? Right. Yeah. Okay. So that was when we went over to EGX's business summit to pitch to to various people from various companies. And what that actually looked like was me frantically attempting to get the build to like function on a shitty laptop, shitty borrowed laptop. But I did get to participate as a third wheel in a conversation with Pete Bottomley, which is big for me because I was a big fan of White Paper's first game, Ether 1.
Yes.
I thought it was really quite brilliant.
I mean, I know it got good reviews and did pretty well, but it kind of came out around the same time as like a lot of those other walking sims. And I feel like it got pushed aside a little bit. It kind of got overshadowed, and it is a good game.
It was definitely a sleeper, and from what I understand from talking with their team, what really was the game changer, no pun intended, for Ether 1 was the PlayStation picked it up and gave them a retail release. But interestingly, it required that they rebuild the entire game from scratch. In Unreal 4. It had originally been made in UDK, Unreal 3. So, but they did it, and then through that, we're able to sort of build the studio infrastructure to create The Occupation, which is a far more ambitious game, an immersive sim set in the 80s. In a government building, you play a journalist who's uncovering information about some sort of terrorist activity, and I got a chance to play it at EGX. It was in an early stage. It had just been picked up by Humble Bundle, but it was looking really nice. It played pretty decently for an early build, and now here it is. It's all grown up, and it has an official.
So it is like another walking sim, like Ether 1.
No, it's like an immersive simulator, so it has like a heavy stealth element to it.
Okay, so like in the Prey genre.
Yeah, although not a shooter. So it's much. I would like compare it to Thief in certain ways. Although again, it's really about creating the experience of being an investigative journalist as opposed to another kind of infiltrator or a soldier or a heavily armed Gordon Freeman type scientist. And they do a really good job, and I followed the development of the game pretty closely, and a lot of the stuff they were doing was so cool. Their AI is really sophisticated. And they have not simply behavior patterns for each of their AI characters that you have to avoid, but they actually have a system set up where these characters have interests and priorities throughout the day. And so can decide to do things. So for instance, one character might be into art, and so will stop periodically to consider painting or a statue or whatever, and create these sort of dynamic, unscripted moments that you can then use to your advantage to maybe slip unseen into an office or whatever. I just think that stuff is so cool.
Yeah, that I like that. I like that whole relationship building thing, as we've discussed prior in other outside conversations. But I'm excited for The Occupation. I now I kind of want to get my hands on it now. Did you say the release date?
I did not yet, no, but the release date is October 9th. As far as I understand, that is a release date for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okay.
So yeah, I know that they were talking about bringing the game to Nintendo Switch, but there's no word on that right now. But I'm if what everybody else is doing is any indicator, I'm sure it won't be too long.
I don't know if it's not really like when you think of the Switch, it's not really the game that you think of. So that'll be interesting. Because every time there's like I don't want to say adult necessarily, but more mature game that you're like, oh, it's going to be on Nintendo, it never really quite converts.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. I mean, it in many ways, the vibe that I'm getting, and I'm not sure if this is going to come to fruition, but the feeling that I'm getting is that people see the Switch as potentially the turning point. For that. I mean, the Switch the Switch is getting a lot of attention that I don't think I've really ever seen a Nintendo system get before.
Well,
so,
they
like,
finally embraced outside IPs. I mean, it's not their IPs, but they're finally embracing, develop. Because remember, people complained with the Wii how incredibly hard it was to develop for the Wii.
Right.
So they're finally embracing indies, like Xbox did and PlayStation started doing not that long ago. But so, here's to White Paper Games. Congratulations on the upcoming release, and I want to play. So hit me up. You know what else? They should. I've got.
Is a date. You know what else is a date? What else is a date is that just the other day, just yesterday, in fact, the 2019 Independent Games Festival, GDC's Independent Games Festival submissions are now open.
Hot damn.
That's pretty cool. I know we have some developers who follow us, and I definitely highly recommend that if you have projects that you should submit them.
There's always some quality games that come out of this. You were about to say it.
What's that?
I said there's always some really quality games that come out of this, and you were about to list them off, I think.
Well, yeah. Some previous prize winners from the past 20 years include A Night in the Woods, Quadrilateral Cowboy, Her Story, Papers, Please, Spelunky, Minecraft, Limbo, World of Goo, Braid, Castle Crashers, Everyday Shooter, and many more of the games industry's breakthrough independent titles.
I would say there's about 9 off of that list alone that, because we've talked about doing like an Indie Game Hall of Fame, and probably 9 off that list that would be at least potentially nominated for the Hall of Fame, if in my mind.
Yeah, that's a serious lineup for sure. Now, in case you needed more incentive than just the potential to be among some of those greats, you'll be interested to know that finalists will be competing over $50,000 in prizes, and their games will be playable at the packed IGF Pavilion on the GDC 2019 Expo floor. The award categories include excellence in visual art, audio design, and narrative, each of which will have 6 finalists, with the winner in each category receiving $3,000. Additional awards include Best Student Game, which is $3,000 right there, $3,000 cash prize. The Special Nuovo Award, $3,000 with 8 finalists. And that honors titles that make the jurors think differently about games.
Essentially, it's weird-ass experimental shit. That's what it is.
Yeah. I love that shit. I eat that shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So yeah, and then last but not least, 6 finalists will be selected to compete Thunderdome style for the $30,000. I want to say that's the perhaps the Seamus McNally or Soymus McNally grand prize.
Yeah, Seamus McNally.
Seamus McNally.
That's how I would pronounce it.
Yeah.
That's how I've always pronounced it.
So that's pretty cool, and I have to say, Josh, you of course attended MagFest with me. This is obviously not quite as high profile as GDC's Independent Games Festival, but it was a hell of a time anyway, and I can only imagine that the 2019 Independent Games Festival will be a hell of a time as well.
Yeah, IGF is the one we haven't covered yet because it's always in California. And Rev's the closest one, and Rev's, and even then, I think that's pretty far for Rev because that's San Francisco, and he lives down towards LA, like southern LA. So, and plus it's expensive if you can't get in. And they have a very limited amount of space for press. It's very bourgeois and exclusive. So, but here this IGF Indie Game Riot should be invited. Everyone spam their Twitter account right now. And by the way, you have until, I don't know if you said it yet, but you have until March 20th? No, that's when the winners will be announced. When is the submission deadline? October 1st. So you still have about 2 months to do it. All right. Well, I believe that concludes the Indie News Injection, congratulations on being that for the first time.
Thank you.
To celebrate, I believe, we should start a riot. This week on Starting the Riot, the very first game we're going to be talking about tonight is called, excuse me, Sleep Tight. Sleep Tight is a tower defense game mixed with, well, it's mostly a tower defense game, pretty much. Basically, you are a child, as we all know. We are all children, immature, of course. We're all, you play as a child who's in their bedroom, with a very high-end bedroom because they have a research table. They can buy ammunition, upgrade their weapons. And
this sounds like a typical American child's bedroom to me, Josh.
America, fuck yeah. And you have a huge carpet, by the way. This is like a massive carpet that you have to protect before they eat you. And you have to survive, waves night after night after night, and as you upgrade, and you can build walls and turrets and things like that, such as you are wont to do in tower defense games. And it's really cute aesthetic, but at the same time, there's a little bit of I'm not gonna lie, the very first time I played it, those monsters move fast and they come out of fucking nowhere, especially at the bottom of the screen, and it scared the shit out of me. Made me yelp a little bit. And the characters are voice acted, which they got some really cute sounding voice. I'm assuming actresses to voice them, because they're like little boys, and unless you get an actual little boy, it's pretty hard for a dude to do those. But very cute sounding, mixed with the it's one of those games too that when you start to think about the situation, you're like, this is pretty fucked up. This kid's like, there's like some legit monsters that are trying to kill this kid. No one probably believes him, and he's setting up, I don't know, his parents are probably rich, because look at his fucking room, and he's got all this stuff to set up. But they probably don't pay attention to them, and you just start going down that rabbit hole. It's kind of depressing after a while, through all the cuteness. I didn't get far enough to, I didn't get far enough, because the farther you get, the more, insane it gets. I started seeing new enemies and stuff like that, but, if you look at the screenshots, it starts to get darker and darker and darker as you go along, and I think by night 30, the shit's blood red in the room, and it's horrifying. It looks like, and you get different kinds of monsters and just all kinds of setup. And between the nights, basically you last till morning, and by morning, all the monsters vaporize who you didn't kill. The monsters will also damage your stuff that you set up, so you have to spend. You have suns and stars. And they're each currency in the game that help you do the upgrades and also repair things and get new weapons and research new stuff, that sort of thing. Really, it's a simple game, but it's really fun, smooth. It's well animated, controls really well. A lot of times I hate, not that I hate them, but I'm not good at the kind of game. I'm not sure what the proper terminology is for a game that you aim with your mouse, and it's kind of
twin
anchored
stick, the twin stick shooter, right?
Sure, twin stick, even though I'm not using sticks, but the point is
maybe that's your problem.
it might be easier with controller. I don't know. I was using keyboard. Maybe I should use a controller, but I'm not usually the best with those.
I'm terrible at them. Terrible.
But I surprisingly was having not a whole lot of difficulty with this, because I lose track of which way I'm facing is the problem. But I wasn't having too much difficulty with it, so it was pretty good. They did a good job creating challenge. It was pretty easy in the beginning, but the challenge ramps up, so they do a good job of creating challenge without alienating those of us who suck, such as me.
It's good. It looks absolutely gorgeous too. I don't know if these screenshots are representative. I assume they are, though.
Yeah. I just noticed there's a quote from IGN that says, "Why isn't Pixar making games like this?" And that was one of my initial thoughts. Was this is like Monsters Inc., but fucked up. This is like Boo in 5 years after the movie, or not even maybe 3 years after the movie, and she's just hardcore Rambo now and has to fend off all the Steve Buscemi monsters.
Right. Right. All the Randalls.
That's his name. I like Steve Buscemi coming out of your closet better than Randall.
I mean, that would be
that
terrifying.
would creep me the fuck out. Remember, can you imagine those eyes looking at you from inside your closet?
Oh, yeah. And those teeth. Those incredibly talented and yet incredibly crooked teeth.
Oh, yeah. I love Steve Buscemi, but my God, that would be terrifying.
No, I don't know what I would do.
Also, just a disclosure, thanks to them for sending me a review code. They did not send enough for both of us, so sorry. But I did get a review code for them to check this out, and it was a good time. And it is available now on Steam, Nintendo Switch as well, which I could actually see this playing really well on Nintendo Switch, especially with the nunchuck controllers. Twin stick shooters, I could see really doing well on those. On Steam, it is currently $14.99. It was only released on the 26th of July, so not that long ago. And 73 on Metacritic, too. And this game, it honestly hasn't gotten a lot of attention. Only 12 reviews on Steam, from what I can see. They're positive reviews, 83% positive, but I'm surprised that no one is playing this, at least not on Steam. Maybe it's doing a lot better on Switch. I don't know.
I mean, IGN, Kotaku, Game Informer, reviewed it, so hopefully they'll get some exposure.
So, okay, the negative ones. It is resource management, main gripes. Okay, I see what you're saying when you're trying to find a shitty review for this. They're not super shitty. Although saying this game is not worth the cost of admission because it feels like a free-to-play game for your phone. I don't know how the fuck you would play this on your phone. I mean, I guess you're one of those people that play PUBG on your phone. I don't understand that either, to be honest.
That makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, how do you play? I guess if you use virtual controls, but that's garbage. I very rarely have I seen good virtual controls. Maybe a total of 3 games. I can count in one hand how many games have good virtual controls on the phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that. There is some legit, fear, by the way, just seeing now them getting hit by monsters, when they chase you, man. And you have to be careful, too, because, I know I didn't do the same thing that this person did in the YouTube video, but they're, blocking off one entire side, but that's an escape route that you're shutting off for yourself, too. I mean, you're blocking them from the top.
Putting yourself in a corner.
Yeah, but that's one less escape route. I need to have movement. And they're getting fucked up too. I did a lot better than them on night 5. So fuck you. Suck my indie game ride dick. Anyway, do you have any questions or any comments about Sleep Tight by We Are Fuzzy? By the way, that is the dev name. If you did not see it if you're listening to audio only, on your way to work or something.
I don't. I want to know when they will have the DLC that adds esteemed character actor Steve Buscemi to the bestiary.
If you are listening, We Are Fuzzy, add...
It's a partnership that needs to happen.
Add Beefs Buscemi, because you don't want to get sued.
He does passion projects. See, they could probably get him.
How much do you think he'll get paid? $1?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he wants the money, he can always do another Armageddon, right?
That'd be some shit. And you can create some interesting layouts too. Just thinking some of their screenshots. I mean, you can work your way up into a corner. You can create all kinds of different designs if you want to get creative with it. But again, I mean, I feel like you're kind of fucking yourself if you do that. But whatever. Sleep Tight. Once again, go purchase it. $14.99 on Steam. I think it's really well, and it deserves a lot more recognition.
You might even say that it's a pretty hot game.
Ha 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 ha! Peep Show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
This week on Peep Show, we're talking about... You ever... Well, let me preface this. What is your favorite game as a child to play? And I'm not talking video game.
That's a good question. I think it was probably Ooh, does throwing yourself off of the swing set count?
Sure, why not? But second favorite game is The Floor is Lava.
Ah, of course.
Yes, it's the classic childhood game, The Floor is Lava. I play it still today. Not really, but I wish I could. I am much too massive now. The Floor is Lava, that someone has actually made a game of it called Hot Lava. And that someone that made that game is Clay Entertainment, the same people that made Don't Starve and that currently Oxygen is Not Included and all that sort of stuff. Very famous Clay Entertainment. I always want to call them Interactive for some reason. But anyway, Hot Lava is a game just exactly what you expect. The floor is lava and you cannot touch the floor. In this game, the floor appears to be literal lava, and you're actually in the model of these like action figures. Like even the character models look like action figures, and you can unlock new ones and stuff for them to wear. All these kinds of unlockables, and you get these like cards to collect. So it's very like reminiscent of when you were a kid, but to much more the extreme, if that makes sense, because it has like all these other cool things that you had, like action figures and trading cards and stuff like that, right? And a lot of it takes place at a school. A lot of it's very parkour based, as of course, because you're trying not to touch the floor. So you're hopping on benches and lockers, and you're climbing on things, swinging across things, and you can play this multiplayer as well, and race and stuff like that. And even when you're not playing against someone a lot of times you'll come across like ghosts, basically, of other players who are doing the same stuff, and just see how they're doing as a ghost. Also, the maps aren't necessarily completely linear, so there's like a lot of unlockables and collectibles that are like off the beaten path that you have to find. It's just a really cool game all around. And you said you took a look at this game too, right?
So I did. I watched a bunch of videos about it. And I did not, unfortunately, have time to actually sit down and play it, although I am strongly considering doing it tonight after the show. Is it as fun to play as it looks?
Yes. I will admit, though, there are some frustrating parts. And it's kind of like, you would almost expect there to be with just how it is, looking at it. But because it's platforming, there's just a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of jumping and things that get in your way, so it can get frustrating at certain points.
Right.
And I think the biggest issue I have, though, is because the levels aren't necessarily linear, sometimes you can get lost.
Right.
With where you're going, and you might go after a collectible, and you're like, wait, where the fuck was I going again? But it's not something that you're like lost forever. Eventually, you'll find your way. It's not like, because the levels aren't like massive or anything like that. So, and then of course, something that I always tickles my funny bone is the collectibles part of it, where you're unlocking different action figure characters and stuff for them to wear and that sort of stuff. And of course, when you die, you melt into the lava as one should as an action figure. So I'm trying to think of more to talk about because it's a pretty straightforward game.
It seems pretty self-explanatory, certainly.
Oh, one thing I wanted to point out, actually, is that on Steam, so this is a Peep Show game. It is in beta. And by the way, they have some really cool like animations that go with it, kind of like Saturday morning action cartoon type thing to go along with like the action figure look of it, which is really cool to me. I just want to, I don't know. I just like the whole 90s aesthetic of it. And I guess Floor is Lava is probably not strictly a 90s thing, but I was a 90s kid, so that's what it brings to me. But it is in beta. It's an open beta, and you have to buy it for $9.99. Although with $9.99 you actually get 2 copies, so you can share it with a friend. So you're actually, I guess technically it's $5 instead of 10, but you're getting 2 copies, whatever. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's in beta. But not early access? I didn't know that was really a thing on Steam. Like, I thought it was like, you're either... Like, you can have a Steam page without selling, or you can be in early access, or you can be fully released. I didn't know there was, like, not in early access yet, still early access.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I wonder, I wonder if that's just a thing that you can do, or if it's something specific that Klei set up with.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's like certain developers because they have like a reputation or whatever that the Steam trusts. I don't know. It's weird.
Oh, what are we talking about? Steam doesn't moderate anything.
That's true. But Klei, what was I saying? Klei, there's no like reviews that you can see for the product, at least not on Steam, because of not being early access, and I guess that technically makes it not an actual. I don't know. It's very weird. It's weird. Bregman says in the chat, "Watch a speed run of it, and you'll be blown away." I can imagine some speed runs of it, like if it's fully released, some of the crazy ass. Is a speed run from beginning to the end, or they have to collect them all? I don't know, but I mean, people amaze me sometimes with. I mean, I know sometimes I suck at games, but I'm not that bad. But then I see people like doing shit like that. I'm like, man, why do I even bother? Why do I try?
Yeah.
They make me feel inadequate. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to mention about Hot Lava. I don't think so. Is there anything else that you had?
To say about Hot Lava? No. I mean, it really does seem incredibly straightforward. A simple concept realized magnificently.
All right. Well, Hot Lava, Klei Interactive, you're hitting it out of the park again, I shall say. And let me transition back to our faces as we make a smooth segue to going mobile. This week on Going Mobile, we're talking about Slay Away Camp. Slay Away Camp is a fun puzzler that you can also play on things like iPad. I believe it's on Steam. Prep brought to my attention as well that you can actually play a free version of the game. It doesn't have everything that the paid version has, obviously, but it gives you a solid feel for the game before you buy it on Kongregate. So you can check it out there. Slay Away Camp is by Blue Wizard Digital. And the point of it is, it's a puzzle game where you play as a murderer, a Jason Voorhees-esque murderer, where it's like a sliding puzzle where you have to slide them around and try and murder all the fools in the camp or wherever you're at, and without dying or getting caught by the cops or anything like that. Depending as you go on, those things pop in, as further challenge and all that sort of stuff. And at the end of your final kill, there's always like some sort of brutality type video thing image that you get, and you can unlock new ones. You can unlock new murderer outfits. It's a really good time. By the way, there is a Friday the 13th like clone of this, and it's not bad, but the fact that it's a clone irritates the shit out of me. Plus, I mean, this is still better. It just plays better. It's cooler. It's got, I don't know, it's just got more stuff to it and more unlockables, and it's better all around. The deaths are varied and more entertaining, and it's got some humor to it. It's just a good time. I will say that. Have you seen any Slay Away Camp, Ian McCammon?
I have, yes. It's a really clever concept. It's not the kind of game that I usually play. First of all, I think the only mobile game I have ever played was like Temple Run and like a Splinter Cell game like 10 to 15 years ago. Yeah, on like a flip phone. Right, back when the novelty of a game on a phone was enough to
you played Snake on the flip phones.
Yeah, something like that. And then other than that, I don't really do the mobile game thing. However, I really like the concept of this game and sort of the doing the slasher thing framed as a sliding puzzle is very clever, I think.
I'm looking at it just to see. I believe it's only a few dollars, but let me.
Yeah, it's $2.99, I believe.
Well, sometimes it's different on like if you buy it on Steam, it's different.
Oh, gotcha.
Of course, there's an age restriction involved, so hold on a second.
We wouldn't want to expose the young children to the brutality that these little square people are.
So I will say that... So how much did you say it was on mobile?
It looks like it's $2.99.
$2.99 on mobile.
It's $2.99 on...
I don't know if the features are different from mobile to PC, but for whatever reason, and this is true for a lot of games that port one or the other, it's $8.99 on Steam, and that bothers the hell out of me if there's not anything new to it for PC. Why it would be more expensive than it would be on mobile? That just seems like bullshit. I will say that. But nevertheless, the game itself is good, and I would say it's worth $9, except for the fact that you've already charged less on mobile. So, I mean...
You might as well just get it for mobile, right?
Right. So what's the point? I will say that another cool thing is in the Unlockables, because it's like an 80s vibe, of course, like 80s is kind of known as the decade for,
the great slashers.
Cheap slasher movies and that sort of stuff. A lot of it kind of pays homage to the 80s. So, like, the unlock screen is like a video store where you get these, like... again, it's very, like, reminiscent of Jason and stuff like that. So you get these, like, VHS tapes with, like, Slayaway Camp 1. The slaying. I don't know what the titles are.
right.
But you get what I'm saying, like Slayaway Camp 2, the face chopping, whatever. And they're all like different themes and stuff like that for the puzzles and the scenes that you're playing in. It's a good time, and you can actually buy. They have DLC out for it, which you can buy in a bundle for $14.35. Currently, 20% saves you on that if you buy them all together. But they have the deluxe edition Santa's Slay expansion, which is like Christmas one, obviously. Monthly Murderers Series 1 and Supernatural Forces Killer Pack, which unlocks various different unlocks for the game and also different puzzles, etc., etc. I like how one of their wards is almost picked for MomoCon. For I guess a MomoCon award.
Right.
83 on Metacritic, so there's that too. And I know this has been out for a little while, but I first of all, it's hard to find mobile games. I gotta say that. But this is really good. It's a lot of fun and good entertainment. Worth the price on mobile. I think it's worth the price on PC too, but why, you should still buy it on mobile because it's cheaper, unless you really want it on PC for whatever reason. Just saying.
So big question for me about any mobile game. In-app purchases, are they there? Are they acceptable?
Just for the DLC.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you're paying for the game already, there should not be any kind of bullshit like that in your game, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm gonna take this Band-Aid off. Okay, it's bothering me. Anyway, any last words about Slayaway Camp?
I don't think so. No.
All right. Well, with that said, this is the end of the show. As you know, all good things must come to an end. If you enjoy what we do and you want to support us, we mentioned you can do that in a multitude of ways. And we mentioned earlier, if you have Twitch Prime, you can you get one free subscription every month, which you can send to our channel for free, no money out of your wallet. It just gives us about $5 every month if you decide to do that with Twitch Prime. We really appreciate it. And now we can actually give custom subscriber badges, which I'll make sure to put up that soon enough to get that. And of course, you get the custom emojis as well. You can also go to patreon.com/IndieGamerRide if you'd like to do it that way. And you can also support us in ways that don't involve money, such as contacting us with things like news stories, games to check out, people to interview, that sort of stuff. You can go to our Twitter at IGRPodcast or Facebook.com/IGRPodcast. And of course, the good old-fashioned email, contact@IndieGamerRide.com. Any last words, Ian?
Oh, man. Putting me on the spot. Haven't I done enough talking? I led the whole first section.
I know, exhausting.
How about just a message of love from me to you and all of you out there in internet land.
I don't know if you've seen the stream or if you've just only been looking at Skype, but that really goes well with my little caption there. So
that's great. I actually have to get the stream off of the screen because the lag is so severe that if I don't do it, then I see me down in the corner doing all of these things. I become incredibly self-conscious.
That's fine. You'll see it in the video later if you decide to watch it. It really, your last words really matched. Really went with the theme there. So it's good time.
That's good.
And my last words is I don't know. Fuck you. With love.
There you go.
With love. Because, Indie Game Riot. Who cares?
That's marketing.
That's on a shirt right there. Anyway, say your goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, sir.
Toodles!